Hi everybody, I'm Yanni from Mbrella, and in this video we will talk about recurring expenses and how you can add them. In the menu, navigate to expenses and then click on recurring expense. Let's say, for example, you have a leasing car in Pillar 1. That's a cost that will need to be deducted from your mobility budget every month. Or you want to finance your rent or your loan with your mobility budget. In that case, you might add the same expense on a monthly basis. Instead of having to log on to Mbrella and adding the one unique expense every month, you can also create one expense and a recurring expense so that it will be repeated automatically on a monthly basis. That's what we will do here. So you click here on add recurring expense. The form looks quite similar to the unique expense form. So here I will add, for example, my rent. 500 euros a month, so I can go up to as high as my monthly budget, but of course I cannot overpass the amount that's in my contract. So if my rent on the contract will be 450, then of course I can't expense 500. If my rent would be 750 and I choose to only finance 500 of it, that's absolutely fine. It's a reimbursable expense because I'm paying for it and I want to be reimbursed. And here you have the option to reserve a provision of your budget for the future expenses. So for rent and my loan, I'm going to select no. This is mostly, it's your choice, of course, but it's mostly interesting for a really fixed cost. For example, again, your leasing car in Pillar 1, if you chose a leasing car, you will need to make sure that you can deduct the cost for the leasing car of your mobility budget for 12 months in a row. So you don't want to overspend in the course of the year. So in that case, I would say yes here and reserve for future expenses. And then in the budget overview, I will see a reserved amount for the amount of 12 months my leasing cost. And then I will also see what's left, for example, 1,000 or 2,000 euros on my total budget that I can still spend on something else. For rent and or loans, for example, I want to be a bit more flexible. I might change my mind next month and buy a huge bike anyway. So I'm going to select no. I always have to select a category. In this case, it will be rent. You also have the option to select mortgage, interest, and capital payments. Budget is pre-selected, my legal budget. And then here I can select the first execution date. I can say, for example, every 15th of the month, 16th today of the month, or the 1st of the month. I can select a date in the past, which is the case with a unique expense. So, for example, if I want to have it started on the 1st of the month, but I also want to add my rent still for June, then I can just select the first here and still add a unique expense later with my rent for June. I'm going to select today, the 16th of the month. Mid-month seems good. I can select the last execution date. If I know, for example, I want to finance my rent for 6 months, and then I will see. I can add a date. If not, I just leave it open and I can still deactivate it whenever I change my mind. I can add a comment and I will have to add a proof here. So in this case, it will be my renting contract. For the loan, it would be your reimbursement table. So I click save and I've added my first recurring expense. You can see all the information here, and underneath actions you have the possibility to either edit it or deactivate it. So I can edit the amount, or maybe I want to add I added the wrong contract, for example. I need to change it, then I can click on edit. If at any point I change my mind or I'm moving and not paying rent anymore, I can obviously deactivate it. So that's how the recurring expenses work.